Hello and welcome. This is Michael Alfano, the Instructional Technology Coach at the Peekskill City School District, and in today's video we're going to be looking at Google Meet tips and link expiration times. In this video we will be starting with creating links from Google Calendar, then moving into creating links directly from the Google Meet homepage, and lastly we will be looking at creating links from Google Classroom. Here we go. To make a Google Meet using the calendar, we'll first navigate to our Google Calendar. Then we will find the date and time we wish to create an event. We can either click on the Create button, or we can click right in our calendar on the date and time we wish to make the event for. In this case, I'll do 9 a.m. on Tuesday, the 26th of October. At this time, we'll get a pop-up where we can add a title, modify the date and time, and then we will see a button for Add Google Meet Video Conferencing. If we select this option, we will see that a Google Meet with a unique link has now been added to this calendar event. One thing to keep in mind is that there are settings if we click on this gear icon, and we have a single option to toggle quick access off or on. By default, this will be on. If we turn quick access off, what that means is the host must be the first person to join the meeting. Only those people who have been invited by the host are able to join the meeting without having to ask permission. Everyone else must ask permission to join that meet. People cannot join anonymously, and only the hosts are able to dial out of this meeting. You get to choose if you want quick access on or off, and then go ahead and click Save for those preferences. Your Google Meet that is created in a calendar is going to expire under two conditions when they are both met. That first condition is when the meeting code has not been used for 365 days, and the second condition is when the meeting code is not associated with any future calendar events. So for example, if we schedule a Google Meet 3 years from now, even though a year or more may pass, because that invitation or that event is still associated with a future event, that meeting link will not expire. When creating a Google Meet from the Google Meet homepage, there are two different options for you. There's either the New Meeting button or there is the Nickname section. First, we're going to review the New Meeting button. When we click on this option, we can either create a meeting for later, start an instant meeting, or schedule a meeting in Google Calendar. Any of these three options have one aspect of criteria before they expire, and that is simply 365 days after the last use of that link. So any meeting created here will be live for 365 days from the last time it was used. When using a nicknamed meeting, that only applies for our domain under peekskillschools.org. So if we made a nickname such as Math period 4, this nickname would only apply for those under the peekskillschools.org domain, and once all participants leave the call, that link will expire instantly. So while this may be good for use in a classroom, this would not be best practice for any parents or others outside of our organization. Once you've started your Google Meet, the first thing you will notice is a pop-up window at the top left corner of your screen. In this window, you have the ability to add others to the call. You can then see the unique meeting URL, along with the dial-in phone number and PIN associated. If you wish to copy the meeting URL to send to others, you can click on the Copy button, and that will be put onto your clipboard, which can then be pasted anywhere else on your computer. If or when you dismiss this window, there are still other ways to find this information. You can find the ending of the URL at the bottom left of your screen, and you can also click on the More Details button to then see the URL, dial-in phone number, and PIN with that same option to copy the joining info. Additionally, if you click on the shield and lock icon, you will be brought to the host controls. Here you can toggle on host management. With this option turned on, the person starting the meeting as the host has the ability to choose whether others can share their screen, send messages in the chat, and this person can also turn quick access on or off. By disabling host management, you will be prompted letting you know that turning off this feature will let everybody control themselves. Those on the meeting can mute each other, record the call, control their own mic and camera, present, and do more. It is suggested that you leave host management on unless you are extremely comfortable with all of those on your call. When starting a Meet from Google Classroom, you can access your personalized Google Meet from the URL up in the banner. It's important to note that these Meet URLs are created using a nickname. The ending of this URL after the lookup followed by the / is your class's meeting nickname. What that means is this link can only be accessed by those in the peekskillschools.org domain. When you click on this link to start your Google Meet, you will notice that the same ending of that URL, which is the nickname, is shown here on the right. If we then join this Google Meet, we will see the same pop-up window as before. The difference using Google Classroom is that you will first see at the top the meeting nickname, and you are told here that this can only be used within Peekskill City School District. When it says this can only be used in Peekskill, they're talking about the nickname itself. Others can still join this call using the actual public URL, which is shown down below. It's important to note the difference between these two here. Only those in Peekskill can use the nickname. Anyone publicly on the web can use the public URL. Another important distinction here is that while the nickname of the meeting will stay the same, the public-facing URL will reset every time this Meet is closed and reopened. So this link is not a good link to give to parents or families when trying to plan a future Google Meet. It is recommended that you use a calendar invitation or a meeting created directly from the Google Meet homepage.